All right, guys, we're going to do just a super fast stream today. There's just some things I want to talk about. So we're going to hop into this real quick. All right, Chris, you could go ahead and send it over. NFL owners have prevailed against NFL players who've been ordered to stop issuing team reports. They're making report cards for NFL teams. The NFLPA lost. It's not looking good for the NFLPA. All right, it's not looking great. Which is hilarious. Like this is kind of a weird fumble for the league. Apparently, this is what the report cards looked like. Miami, A+ coach, owner, food, travel, weight room, treatment of family. Just excellent stuff. And let's check out the bottom. Arizona, not looking good. Terrible weight room. New England is not looking good for some reason. Great coach, solid coach. The owner's questionable. We all know how we feel about Robert Kraft. Food, C. Makes sense. It is Boston. Travel is an F. Yeah, because you live in Boston. That's why. Weight room, F. That is interesting. You'd think Kraft would shell out for a nice weight room. He did not. Let's move on up here. What else we got? New York Jets with an F-tier owner. The worst graded owner in the league is the New York Jets at an F. Woody Johnson sucks. All right. I'm a Jets fan. The guy sucks. He's a terrible owner. Everyone knows that. The guy listens to the media, and the media guides his entire judgment strategy. Like, it's just a disaster. If you're a Jets fan, seeing Woody Johnson ranked at F is not surprising. Not surprising. But we do have a B-tier coach, that apparently people like. I guess this is for Aaron Glenn. Not that bad. Not that bad. C-tier food. All right. C-tier travel. All right. C+ weight room. I thought that was going to be better, but I guess not. Treatment of family, C-. Tough. Who's got the best though? We got Miami at number 1, Minnesota, Atlanta, Las Vegas, all doing great on the report card. Sad that this is going away. This is fantastic insight. Tough look for the NFL that they arbitrated this away. I understand why they're doing it, and it's a win for them for this to get, it's a win for them that this went their way. But this is a tough look for the NFL, An actual report card courtesy of the players. Let's see. The best part about the report card getting absolutely kicked, what's it called? The NFL informed all 32 teams today in a memo that it prevailed in its grievance against the NFLPA and its, quote, team report cards, end quote. An arbitrator determined that the NFLPA's conduct violated the CBA and ordered it to stop making public any future report cards. My favorite part about this Adam Schefter report, right there, privileged and confidential. Published to 5 million views. Tough look for the NFL. Genuinely tough look for the NFL. Anyway. What else we got? Let's keep things rolling quickly. Want to talk about this? Polymarket, Kalshi, MGM, FanDuel CEOs are all on a panel at the NBA All-Star Tech Summit. It's entirely off record. That's interesting. Yeah, it's as clear as ever that prediction markets seemingly are here to stay in the sports world. The CFTC seems to be on their side. And look at this. I mean, they're hopping in on these panels. Shane Copeland, Tarek Mansour, Kalshi, and Polymarket right next to FanDuel, Sportradar, DraftKings, MGM. And you're telling me that the NBA is not like just letting them ride? It looks like they're here to stay in serious fashion. What else we got? All right, we're going to keep things rolling. This guy right here, Clavicular, has been all over the news. Basically, he has become the streaming icon and sensation over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks in that range. The guy has been blowing up like nobody's business. for a wide variety of good and not so good reasons. But I will tell you this. Clavicular is the looks maxer in chief, all right? That's his whole thing, trying to look as handsome as possible, and that's his entire life goal. But in my opinion, you could see here, this is continued, right? Like a bunch of guys, the ASU frat leader experienced a noticeable cortisol spike after being I can't even continue with this. ASU frat leaders are looks maxing. This was prophesized. Let me find this. 1 second. Wait 1 second. All right. This whole clavicular looks maxing thing. Wait, hold on. Let me pull this up. I want like an actual one of clavicular looks maxing. 1 second. Clavicular. All right. Give me a video. Give me any. There's only videos of him fighting. All right, whatever. This whole clavicular looks maxing thing, he's getting into fights or whatever, but he is the looks maxer in chief. And if you're wondering, like, where did this come from? Where did this whole looks maxing thing come from? I would argue that looks maxing was prophesized in an old experiment from the 1950s to 1970s. Researcher John Calhoun gave mice, like a bunch of mice, unlimited food, unlimited water, plenty of space, and just wanted to see what would happen. And what happened was pretty damning. After a little bit of time, the women, the female rodents, the female mice, straight away did not want to engage with the men. The female mice were not interested in the male mice. And afterwards, the male mice ended up staying to themselves. And they pulled away from the female mice and they stopped breeding. And the male instead started to preen and take care of themselves and clean themselves incessantly. They wouldn't stop until at the end of the experiment, they actually, while they had plenty of food, they became cannibalistic, started to eat each other and kill each other for sport before they decided that this was becoming inhumane. They decided that the science experiment became inhumane and cut it off. And if you compare that to today's society, just saying the parallels are pretty striking. The females pull away from the men. That does sound like the 2010s. That does sound like the 2010s. And then if you look at what happened now with looks maxing on the rise, suddenly the men are all preening. They're all taking care of themselves first and foremost. That's the number one thing on their minds. Looks maxing. You got to keep those jawlines intact. Gesture maxing. Well, not so much of that. And then what happens next? Who knows? According to this experiment, we become cannibals. If that's to be believed. If you don't believe me, it's called The Beautiful Ones, and that's a rabbit hole that you don't really want to go down. But in my opinion, it is the primary prophecy as to why clavicular is doing so well today. All right. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? That's hilarious. Anything else? Yeah, this was just a speed run, guys. I'll only because I don't. This is for the Clippers as well. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next week. I am traveling Monday through Sunday, so I don't know if I will be available to run any shows. So my thought, this is what I was going to react to, but whatever, I missed it now. You know, maybe I will, like, just for the sake of the clips, react to that as well. But yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to be available. So I'm just kind of like running through this as quickly as possible. Oh, Jesus Christ. That was tough. That was a tough look. All right. Just for the Clippers, if this is a better video, if this is a better background, I'll run it. Why is Clavicular suddenly on the rise and he's blowing up in this whole looks maxing thing where men are trying to look as good as possible on the rise? In my opinion, this was prophesized in the 1950s to the 1970s in an old experiment that we come to know as the beautiful ones. If you don't know what the beautiful ones is, it was this whole experiment in the 1950s to 1970s where a researcher, if you don't know what the beautiful ones is, it was an old experiment in the 1950s to the 1970s where a researcher decided, hey, let's give a bunch of mice unlimited food, unlimited water, plenty of space, and let's just see what society looks like when everything is perfect. And it wasn't good. It didn't turn out well for the mice. The women, they separated from the men. It didn't go too well for the women. The men then separated again from the women. They stopped trying to breed and they focused more on preening and making sure that they themselves looked great. After that, all the mice became cannibalistic, started to destroy each other almost for sport. They had plenty of food. They didn't need to eat each other, but they did. And it was a disaster. They had to shut down the experiment because it was this massive, it was becoming a problem. It was becoming a serious problem. So they had to cut it short. And if you compare that to modern times, we had the women separate from the men, in a sense, in the 2010s, at least on social media. And now, in the 2020s, men getting into the looks maxing, keeping your jawlines tight. Are you going to the gym? Eerie parallels, eerie parallels, guys. I just got to say, it's a little concerning. It's not necessarily a guarantee, but it is a little bit concerning. All right. That is probably good to go. I have to get out of here. So, I have a date. So that was really fast, but I did want to make sure I got like 3 things really, out there. And maybe you guys find that useful. If not, it's all right. All right. Talk to you guys later. You can